Hello everybody, my name is Dennis Futrell and I will be talking about the Great Kanto earthquake today. The Great Kanto earthquake occurred September 1st, 1923 at 11:58 a.m. This earthquake occurred on the Kanto Plain in Japan and destructed major cities such as Tokyo and Yokohama. Many other surrounding cities were affected by this earthquake. This was the largest pre-war natural disaster for Japan during this time period. Today we're going to be taking a look at the quake and its destruction, and we'll also be taking a look at what life was like before and after the quake for Japan. Before the shock, Japan was taken part of several benefits following the end of World War I. Politically, they had a lot of influence in China, and militarily, possessions were seized from Germany while they were busy fighting the war themselves. Industrialization was expanding for Japan during this time, specifically with light bulbs. All of these combined provided great optimism for Japan during this time. Let's talk about the shock and its destruction. Like I said earlier, the shock occurred September 1st, 1923. The first shock occurred at 11:58 a.m. This is important to note because during this time many people were preparing lunches for the day. In order to cook these lunches, they used natural gas. Well, when the earthquake struck, it erupted a lot of these gas lines, and many fires broke out over the course of the next few hours. These fires broke out and began spreading wildly all throughout the cities, and the vast majority of people died because of these fires. One of the biggest contributor from the fire breakout was when the fire struck a military clothing facility where 35,000 people were seeking shelter, and all died as soon as the clothing store or the clothing outlet went up in flames. Approximately 140,000 people lost their life that day. Many were never even found. The quake caused $4.6 billion in damages. Even though some structures were left standing, they were severely damaged internally from the fires. Over the course of the next couple of days, several aftershocks followed, which further damaged or crippled even more structural facilities throughout the cities. The time period that this quake occurred is also important to note that it was during the middle of typhoon season. So a typhoon had actually hit the coast of Japan and the Kanto Plains about 2 to 3 days following the earthquake, the initial shock. While the typhoon at the end of the day assisted in putting out the flames, initially it actually spread the flames due to the high winds before the rain fell. Following the shock, there were a lot of post-quake criminal acts, some of which were thieves would actually go around and steal money and assets such as jewelry and other things from people that had perished. Now, fortunately for police and those people that they were stealing from, a lot of the jewelry and money was actually tainted by the smell of these perished bodies. So when the criminals would go to use the money or exchange their goods for money. People would notice the smell of the money and the assets like the jewelry, and were able to notify police. Following the end of the World War, the earthquake, the USA lent a helping hand to Japan. They did this until Japan actually, basically accused them. Well, USA accused Japan of taking advantage of the help. Insurance companies went into debt following the quake, and because of all the premiums that they had to pay out, they leaned on the government heavily to bail them out during this time, so that way they could stay in business. The last thing that I want to talk about after the earthquake was Japan's Disaster Prevention Day. This was brought into place into the 1960s as a recognition of that day and to commemorate that day, but to also ensure that people in Japan are aware of the earthquakes and the typhoons and things that can happen over there, and they have a plan in place for when these things do happen, to hopefully save lives and prevent the catastrophic numbers that occurred on September 1st, 1923. That concludes my video. Thank you for listening. Thank you for a great semester of class, and look forward to maybe meeting you at graduation. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.